James, you've been around long enough. You saw an offensive line that wasn't real productive a few years ago. Now to the point where you guys are getting a lot of credit for how well you're playing. So, difference? How much better are you? What was the struggles way back when?
I think the biggest struggles we had back when we weren't as consistent and performing as well as we should be was like the little details. You know, all the time in offensive line play, we talk about first step, second step, pad level, hat placement, and things like that are what really killed us in the past. But over the off season and all through summer, we really harped on the little things, and it's starting to show up more often now. You know, on the backside of stretch, we have better first steps now, and it showed on Thursday. You know, we got Wyatt cut off a 2-eye, which a tackle's not supposed to do. But if you have a first good step, like he did on that, it's not really an issue. And then I think the other thing is the trust that Graham shows in us. You know, having a coach that trusts the offensive line to go for it on fourth down or third down is really reassuring to us, and we really want to make sure we get that down no matter what. So
gratifying to you to be able to average 218 a game without a running quarterback?
Yeah, it's nice, but doing that kind of puts pressure on us in the pass game because they know he's not a rusher, so we're gonna get more edge blitz and just edge pressures. But no, that's something definitely to be proud of.
Yeah.
Pass protection been good too. We talk a lot about the run, but you haven't given up many sacks.
Yeah, I think across the board, pass protection's been good. The biggest key for that is just staying square and kind of just we really focused last week on tendencies that they had, and they gave away a lot of their stuff. So we spent the whole week game planning it and kind of like picking up on those tendencies, and a lot of that came to play during the game, and that helped with pass protection. That helps in any game is if you can pick up a tendency like that. So
Graham was in here before, and he was talking about the philosophy of attacking grass and basically calling what he sees. How much have you noticed from JT from game 1 to game 4 of him having the freedom to flip plays or to call things that are
having that freedom as quarterback and having a quarterback that's smart enough to do that is, I think, a big step for a Power 5 program. You know, there's not a lot of people that can pick apart a defense like that in a live situation and then know when to flip it and make the correct call. But having him do that, it takes a lot of stress off of us. You know, there was a play on Thursday where they had 7 guys at the right side of the ball, and we flipped it to the opposite play, and it made a huge difference because in the past we've never done that. So we would have ran the play into the 7 guys and been outnumbered 4 to whatever. I think we had a tight end on the right, so we'd have been outnumbered 4-3, and it wouldn't have worked. But I think having that from Graham and JT takes a lot of stress off of us.
How important is it that you and Zach have played side by side for a couple of years now?
Yeah, having the chemistry in the middle between Zach and I, and even Doug too, it makes, because we all rotate at center, so we all know the calls and know what we should do on the play, and we kind of trust each other. So we don't have to communicate as much, so we can look at the defense faster and kind of get everything set and know what we're going to do before the majority of the time anybody else does. So it's nice.
Graham actually talked about that during the Virginia Tech game. He asked JT what pass play he wanted, and JT actually said, "No, I think we're better off running right here." Did you guys almost take that as a compliment as well? Because obviously he would not say that if you.
Yeah, having people that have confidence in us really boosts us up and gives us the extra push that we need to do what we need to do.
Do you get any input? I mean, O linemen go and say, "Hey, we can run this." Does that come into play?
Not so much on our end, but there was a drive where we came off the field and CJ actually came over to us and Coach Moore and said what he was seeing in the backfield, and I think a couple drives later we did exactly what he said, and he bursted a big run. So it's not so much on our side because we can't see as much as they do, but a guy in the backfield can come over and say that, and we'll adjust off of it. And like we did with CJ, there was a big run that came from that.
Kind of curious if you could kind of take me back what the linemen were talking and thinking about when Graham first gets hired, and he obviously comes in with the air raid thing. So you guys probably had some perceptions or thoughts on what the offense was going to look like,
right,
as opposed to what it actually looks like now. How different, what kind of story is there from your guys' point of view?
Right now, there's a big difference from when he got here. Like you just said, everybody was focused on the air raid, but like you said, we were averaging what 218. That I don't think anybody expected that, and I don't think we did either. So having that flip, kind of like we trust what he's going to do for us. So.
Initially, you're probably thinking, well, I'm just going to be passing
Yeah.
all game, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
But having the change of pace is really nice because we rush for 218 a game. They're going to fill the box, and that opens up the deep pass. So there's a lot more options there.
How much does C.J. Donaldson's emergence surprise you? When did you sort of say, you know what, this tight end's really good running back?
I honestly didn't even know he was a tight end when he got here. I found that out after the Pitt game. But I think those runs he had in the Pitt game kind of really set the tone for him, and that got us excited about him, and we like blocking for him. Like, we love blocking for guys like that. But yeah, he came out of nowhere for me, honestly. I had no idea he was a tight end. I thought he was a running back the whole time, and then the Pitt game happened, and I was, needless to say, shocked. So
Easier to block for a guy like that, knowing that he can run through arm tackles.
yeah, if you miss something, he's gonna make someone miss at least. He's either gonna make a miss or just run through him. So that's always nice to have in the backfield.
Hey, James, excuse me. Different running backs and receivers have had one story or another about JT and something that he says during the week to get him ready for Saturday, like watch out for the deep back here, watch out for the gap here. I'm guessing that would come through with protections
Yeah.
for the offensive lineman.
Yeah.
So the communication with you guys, how often does he suggest something and it's spot on and it works?
Majority of the time, if he sees something, he'll ask us and say, "What do you guys think?" Especially during the week if we see it on film. But in the game, he'll see it and he'll just tell us, and we won't think twice about it. So whenever he suggests something, we do it just because we know that he's smart enough to pick it up and that it's more than likely going to happen. So
What type of confidence does that give you all when you don't have to worry about everything because he's got to refine it?
it's not because, a lot of the time Wyatt and I are looking at corners and nickels trying to see what they're going to do. The same with Doug and Quay and Yates, and Zach's just looking at the middle. So we can't really see everything. So if we see something on the left side and then he sees something on the right and he flips the protection, that's a real big thing for us because then we go right into what they're trying to do for us.
Curious, because JT kind of mapped out what his week was like last week of how he prepares. One day would be certain down and distance, top three coverages, pressure percentages, so forth, and he would go all through that, and then he would look at red zone. In your week, what do you study from Sunday through Thursday or Friday? What are the things you're looking at?
Going into like Sunday and Monday, we kind of just watch the last week's game just to watch it, see if we can see anything. And then as the week goes on, we focus more on like top blitzes, red zone blitzes, and then like favorite fronts. And then throughout the week, like on my free time, you'll sit there and like watch cut-ups of like certain tendencies they might have or like specific alignments they have. So there's not as much detail as a quarterback, but there's definitely some cut-ups that we watch that are more important.
James, obviously, major college football players just talked about all the study time you have, but you're also a family guy. How do you balance that? During the season, you just accept that you don't see the kids as much?
Yeah, the season's the hard part. Right now we're in the thick of it, and it got kind of mid-seasons where it gets rough because you're almost done, but you're still in the very beginning of it. And a credit to my wife, she's alone all day, every day with these kids, and she does a great job of keeping everything together and keeping her cool. But yeah, kind of during the season, you just accept the fact that you're not going to be home as much. It sucks, but you have two lives, and sometimes one takes more out of the other. So
You slip home during the day to see the kids because they're probably asleep
yeah.
pretty early.
Yeah,
so-
usually she's probably been asleep for about an hour now. So whenever I get home at night, she's probably asleep, and so I take as much time as I can to get with both of them.
Coach Brown, and obviously with him being a head coach, he's got to be a little bit more political when it comes to the whole conference realignment and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're still a guy, you're a student, you're a kid. This could be the last time West Virginia plays Texas.
Yeah.
Does that mean anything to you?
It does. Texas and West Virginia have great games in the past. It's not as much of a rivalry as everybody thinks it is, but losing a quality opponent in the Big 12 like this, it means something, you know, because it takes away from your schedule and your competition. But we're bringing in a bunch of good teams, good coaches. So it sucks losing them, but I think it's not as big a deal as it should be.
Anything else for James?